Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome to or welcome back to the channel. This year, we celebrate 10 years of High Seas & Co. Congratulations
and congratulations to you.
Thank you. So High Seas & Co., our social media agency, we're celebrating 10 years in business. And as any entrepreneur or business owner knows, it is a wild ride. So worth it, though.
So worth it.
But where 50% of businesses fail in their first 5 years, here we are a decade later, having built a 7-figure business, hired people, bought a house with our own salary, which was probably like the biggest, like, whoa, we started a business, we bought a house with that business money. What are you talking about? So today, we wanted to share our 10 business lessons from our 10 years of business so that our wins and our losses can hopefully help you navigate your business journey and get you closer to whatever your goals are. So let's dive in. Now, first things first, don't let your fear of what others might think of you hold you back from putting yourself out there. Now, honestly, I feel we would be 5 years ahead if we showed up fully as Tiffany and Craig in our business in 2014 when we started. As soon as we put ourselves out there, specifically with launching this YouTube channel and all the content around that, everything changed. That's when the momentum went like this. So in terms of like the leads and opportunities and the attention that we got, it came from showing up, which is actually what we realized when we started even showing up in our Instagram posts a little bit more. We were like, geez, every time there's like you and I in these posts, they seem to be doing really well.
And that was not what we wanted to do.
Because also you have to remember, this is at the beginning before social media was really a thing being used for business, really.
People weren't doing that. It was like Gary Vee and stuff, but it wasn't like the other folks.
It wasn't personal branding, being an influencer, all those things where people now are out and putting themselves out there all the time did not exist. Like that was reality TV shows is when you're seeing people put themselves out there like that, you know?
And that was only 10 years ago.
And it's crazy how much has changed in that time. Business accounts didn't exist on Instagram. None of these things existed, right?
No features.
So really want to emphasize, and honestly, a lot of that also was on me too. We were even further delayed because I really just did not want to be in front of the camera. I was like, it's about just the clients. It's not about, and the work. It's not about us, but that's not what it is really. Like people connect to people. So I really want to emphasize, don't let what you think Jason from grade 10 who follows you on Facebook will think of your video, or what Sandra from The Office will think of your Instagram post, you know, if you promote your product or yourself on Instagram. Don't let what you think other people think of you who don't even know you or really care of you and don't even matter block you from your blessings. People, as I mentioned, connect to people first and foremost, and they'll find you and connect with you if you let them. This is why we've even seen, as we mentioned, from 2014 till now, the creator economy thrive and explode in the way that it has, is because these are creators, these are human first businesses. These are people who are putting themselves out as personal brands first, and this is why they're getting so much, you know, say, attention or love, or able to thrive in their businesses, because people connect to people. So if you're watching this and you've been wondering, we're gonna say it, start the YouTube channel, post the content that's sitting in your drafts, wherever it is, publish that note that you have on LinkedIn, but you feel like you might be a weirdo if you write something in long form on LinkedIn, DM respectfully that ideal client that you want to work with, or that influencer that you wanted to collaborate with. Whatever you want to do in your life, you have to be willing to put yourself out there and get out of your own way.
The next lesson from our 10 years in business is invest in software and tools to save your time.
Yes.
Of course, when you're starting a business, your time is incredibly important, and you need to spend it and invest it in activities that will help you grow and help you be incredibly efficient so you can focus on what matters. Now, we wasted a ridiculous amount of time working in things just like Google Sheets unnecessarily. So like, instead of purchasing accounting software that would allow us to track all of our income and expenses and send invoices and all that good stuff, we just made them in like Google Docs. We had
like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that math? Why were we trying to?
I think we didn't even know what the options were. Our accountant didn't tell us.
Yeah, and I think our accountant didn't tell us at the time too. So that's something else we'll talk about about later too, in terms of things to pay attention to. But us working in Google Docs, making invoices and doing all these ridiculous stuff and not investing in software was such a miss for sure.
It was so silly. Like literally writing out all the costs and doing the math in a spreadsheet, like tracking it all and writing to the penny what our income and expenses were. I just thinking back, I kind of cringe. Like
so much manual energy.
It was really bad. Manual energy, wasted time that we could have spent working on the business.
Yeah.
And of course, we dreaded doing taxes or anything accounting related because of this. Like it sort of set a bad tone for that for us in the beginning. And we see this happen with other business owners when it comes to not investing in social media tools, for example, to distribute their posts, which therefore makes them inconsistent because they don't have a tool to help them do it because they're just relying on whenever they find time. Or not having a real CRM to track customers and clients and sales and interactions and which of those interactions resulted in anything specific, so then you can find any patterns, things like that. And none of these things have to be expensive. There are so many options that are affordable, and that was something that we definitely didn't do in the beginning. It just has to make sense for you and where you are in your business journey, and there's always something for that.
Exactly. Investing in software is key. And speaking of investing in software, huge thank you to HoneyBook for partnering with us on this video.
Let's go.
So if you didn't already know, HoneyBook is the leading client management platform that makes it easy for independent business owners to sell and deliver their services online.
That's it. HoneyBook saves business owners time, money, and stress by automating tasks and managing contracts, invoices, and payments in one platform. With HoneyBook, you can book clients, manage projects, and get paid all in one place. It really couldn't be more convenient.
Right? It's more like, what can't you do with HoneyBook should be the question. Now, I really wish we had HoneyBook when we started our business a decade ago. One of our favorite features is the seamless booking. So clients can pick available dates within the platform without back and forth emails, simplifying scheduling and avoiding conflict.
That is a massive time saver. And another of our favorite features is the automated follow-ups and reminders. HoneyBook has automatic reminders that ensure clients meet payment deadlines and keep important details in mind, making transactions smooth and stress-free.
Which is super important as a small business owner or creator, because you do not have the time to be chasing invoices or sending reminders.
Exactly. So, are you looking to grow your business in 2025? Well, right now, HoneyBook's annual plans are 25% off, and now is the time to set yourself up for success.
Start for free, join for 25% off at honeybook.com for Cyber Week via the link below. Or if you're seeing this after the promotional period, you'll still get a free 7-day trial via the link below. Thank you, HoneyBook, for partnering with us on this video. Now, the next lesson from our 10 years in business is don't just set goals, make action plan. So it's not enough to say you want to make X amount of dollars or sell X amount of product or merch. You need to create clearly defined tasks that ladder up to that goal. So a real set of actions that will take you to that place. And you need to be extremely specific. Now, there's an interesting psychological phenomenon, which I heard about in a podcast and I looked it up. It's very interesting. It's a phenomenon where when we set goals, we get a dopamine hit and it feels good. And it feels so good that it can actually act as a reward before we even hit the goal. So just saying, I'm going to do this makes you feel so good just thinking about the fact that you do this, that even that action of saying it can be so fulfilling that you don't actually end up doing the goal. So set the goal and work back from it. So that's the difference between saying I want to hit 10,000 followers on Instagram versus I'm going to post 3 times per week, show up in stories every day, and spend $500 per month on Instagram profile ads. Or the difference between I want to sell 100 of my product versus I'm going to show up at 5 trade shows this year. I'm going to post about my product twice a week instead of the twice a month that I usually promote it. And I'm going to reach out and work with 10 influencers. That's how you set specific action items that ladder up to your goal. Again, this is something I also wish we learned earlier because we made even lofty goals, but it's like, how are you going to get there if you don't specifically take action steps to do that? That's more important, than saying, I want to do this thing.
That, and also coming back to the original thing, it's like, you don't really get that dopamine hit if you don't tell everybody about the goal.
That's also a part.
It's better to keep it to yourself.
That's real G's move in silence like lasagna.
That's it. Just the way. You can have like negative energy. People can put negative energy out there if like there's a lot of jealousy a lot of the time if people are going for things, maybe because some folks don't have a lot happening and they get upset when they see other people doing stuff and they feel bad about themselves. So they'll put negative energy out there about your goal if you maybe say it to the wrong person. So all of our goals are all sort of internal. We have all of the things that we want. We talk to each other about it, but we don't really talk to others about it because it doesn't really affect anyone else. It's just our thing and we're working. It is what it is. So, keep it. Some people just like to say it a lot and maybe consider keeping that a little low key.
To your chest.
We've seen a lot of friends and colleagues, I guess, just people we know in business, like say a lot of stuff. And typically the people that say a lot of stuff don't always do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, just do the thing.
Just do the
And then it'll show up and it'll exist. And also, sorry, I want to even put some notes. Sometimes even people, and this is like even your family and friends, they're actually well-intentioned. So it might not even be a place of jealousy. They just don't want you to be disappointed because maybe for some reason they feel like that's their own personal insecurity, honestly, projecting onto you. So because they don't want you to feel, be hurt or disappointed, they'll be like, try to talk you out of it or say like, oh, don't do this or, oh, don't work too hard and all that stuff. And it's like, no, you have a goal in mind. You have to do the action steps to get that goal and just keep a little bit of tunnel vision on that for sure.
Yeah. The next lesson from 10 years of business is get your systems and processes in order from the beginning. It kind of sounds like boring, really, as I was saying that, but it's such an important thing and it really changes how your whole business works. So you need to understand how your business works so you can scale. So that means investing in growth in the company and particularly what works well, and then also identifying what doesn't work and making sure key things aren't missed because you'll know what comes next and it reduces a lot of wasteful tasks. So one fantastic way to do this is a thing called a standing operated procedure or an SOP. That's essentially just a document that if you hire somebody, you could read that document and it's step by step of how to do everything. The vast majority of companies don't have that.
Yeah.
And it'll not only make your life easier for your team as you start to grow, but if you're a solo business owner right now, just having all of those down, you don't have to think about stuff. Like you won't miss any steps. You just follow it off. It's such a great way to just make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, and documenting it isn't that difficult. And like some examples of this, because if you're a bit newer in business, maybe you kind of like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
So this is things like inbound inquiries. Like how do you handle those? When you're pitching, what does that look like? What does that email, do you send the first email? Do you follow up? Do you ask for a phone number? All of that. Client onboarding. Once you've actually landed a client, how do you onboard them? You're selling products. How do you actually go about what's the sales process? Hiring processes. Do you hire contractors or employees? And when you do both, we've obviously had both over the years, and there's different processes. Accounting. Data storage, like how do you actually keep all of your stuff? Do you use Google Drive or Dropbox or some other system? Then how do you set up your folders? Like what is logical so that you can find things all the time? All of that type of thing. So we have SOPs on how we do social, as we were talking about before. So anybody can join our team or know exactly how we go at High Season about creating a strategy, posting, content calendars, batching, the whole lot. So systems, set them up from the beginning, and doesn't mean they can't change too. Like they change over
they're
time.
always going to refine and change because you're also going to have more knowledge about what works and what doesn't. So you have to be open to that too.
Right, and even if they're going to change, it's still put it down in documentation so that it's there, and then you can always update that as things go.
Yeah, and I want to say an easy hack even for this is literally just record your screen doing something. So if there's an important task that you do and you know it's repetitive and you do it often, record yourself doing that task. And then really it becomes like just like a checklist in a way. You could even record it and then upload it to ChatGPT and say, create an SOP based on what you've seen in this recording of what all the logical steps are.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Now, the next business lesson is to stay lean and mean. So embrace the scrappiness. When we say this, that's what we mean. Like, don't feel like you need to hire the most expensive agency or the most expensive employees because we've learned about that. So we've been burned by overpaying so many times, and really or offering financial incentives, because we always had this thought where like, you pay more, it's better. And there is a psychological thing too, like when you pay more, it's better. So of course, and sometimes it is better, but sometimes it's really not, and things should just be paid at the rate that they need to be. basically. So like what its actual value is or how it actually impacts your performance.
Or we were trying to get someone who's higher that didn't need to be for that job.
Exactly. Like, you know, like if you're a small business, does it make sense that a 60% of your entire business goes to having a social media manager? Probably not. It'd probably make more sense that you invest in educating yourself better. You're watching our videos. Maybe you're taking a course, you're taking some form of program, get consulting, any of these other things. You have to know what to invest in, and it doesn't always need to be the most expensive thing. We learned that with accounting. We loved our accountant, for example. They were amazing. They're an amazing firm, but they just, for where we were, didn't really make sense. It was like us and like Procter and Gamble or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why are we have the same accountant? It doesn't make sense, you know? So it's like just also knowing where you are and what your needs are. As your business changes, that's when you can decide to level up in certain areas. If you go in advance and start hiring a bunch of people, you're putting unnecessary stress on yourself. The payroll can get bigger. Everything in your business can get bloated. Processes can start falling apart. And that's what we see often, honestly, too. When you are leaner, it also makes you more nimble because there's not all these people that you need to move in a direction. So when you're thinking about, you know, bringing on like even an agency or like a firm to do something, whether that's law, finance, or bringing in somebody to help you on a task, figure out when you need to learn something new or whether it's best to just hire an expert and really understand what that expert's delivering you and really see if you need the best of the best to do the thing.
The next business lesson is not all money is good money. This has been a big one for us. Don't be afraid to leave money on the table. We consistently leave hundreds of offers and thousands of dollars on the table if it doesn't align with our values or if it just doesn't feel good, whether it's sponsors or potential clients. It's been something that has come in more and more since the YouTube side of things is growing. And we're not just going to take everyone who wants to, like, there's so many people who just want to pay you to talk about their stuff, but we always think about our audience, our core people who watch our videos. Like, is it something that we would recommend to them? And if it's not, then we don't take it. And we're getting multiple emails a day, and I speak to other people and they get the same thing. So it's very common, but you have to be very choosy with the ones that you're actually going to pick. On another side, like, don't let people talk you down on your price. And speaking of money, because you end up resenting them and that business and that account, because you know what you're worth and they'll always demand more work, which is always the way that it goes. So bit of a caveat, if you're just starting out, then these are the lessons or case studies or processes that you're acquiring, which has a huge non-monetary value. So it's okay if you kind of take a few L's in the beginning, because that lesson is going to save you money down the track.
Yeah, we must be like 200x or something the price that we were in 2014. I can't even imagine what the math is on that.
I remember what our hourly was.
I remember what our hourly was, but I also remember what our packages were. And it's just the amount of work that we had in our packages back then. But it's because we were newer agency. We only had all the side hustle stuff before we were even coming in as like full high season. So we needed to obviously do things for a lower price to get ourselves in the door. So yeah.
Totally. And that was when we were still working.
Exactly.
So the business started 10 years ago. We went full-time 9 months.
Exactly.
And it's, all of this has been, all of those smaller clients and leading up, you can't skip any steps.
No.
The motto that we used to have written, we had like a whiteboard with like goals and stuff in our old apartment. And it was like, if it's not a heck yes, it's a heck no. We had different word, but that's essentially what it is. It's so important. If you don't feel passionate for it, then we're just like, nah, we're not cool for it. And that's what served us really well
100%.
in 10 years, I think.
The next lesson is to work with people you'd want to have a drink with. Or I could say hang out with, but you know, we love a drink. I was like, is that a way to say it? Not in a problematic way. I'm just like, it's one of our activities that we do. If you ever see us personally, you'll know the vibe.
That's
but
the vibes.
When we talk about like somebody you'd want to have a drink with, it's just somebody you'd want to hang with, someone you'd actually like. So this goes for like your clients, your suppliers, your vendors, your partners, people you like because you'll have to be around them all the time. And it also just opens things up to more creativity, like passion, commitment, more investment in each other's, you know, success, that camaraderie. Like having clients that we like has really made us better agency owners in general, and then cultivating an audience of very cool people that we also like we talk to you all And you were all people where I'm like, hey, if I'm in California, I would totally like hit this person up and go have a coffee with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's very cool because we've cultivated a community of people that we like. And when you're in an environment like that, it allows you to be more creative and also enjoy what you do. And again, with our clients, we've come up with really cool, fun ideas that have gone really, really well because we don't mind hanging out a little bit longer on the Zoom call and kind of talking things, or we divert into different conversations. And it's not just so like, hey, here it is, here's the report, here's all this stuff. It's more like we conversate and that gets ideas generated and it makes for better work. So that's definitely, I would say is, you know, try to work with people who align with you. And we've put money on the table and have gotten rid of very large accounts because we felt like those people were not aligned with who we are. So yes. So that's another story for another time.
I'm about to expand.
We do have a video. You know what? Check out the video where we talked about people to avoid in business. It's from the beginning of our YouTube life, but it still is very true to this day. And I think it'll give you a bit of insights on the people to avoid.
And this was in 2020. So this was like the beginning of COVID, and we were just going for a walk outside and film like a vlog style. And we went, and this is, so if that was 2020, we'd been in business there for 6 years. So we still had learned enough of people to avoid in 6 years.
Exactly.
Which is pretty crazy. So they're all different types, like an alpha, the promiser type, or a toxic person, or the penny pinchers, the non-believers, fake emergency, things like that.
The fake emergency.
Which is like, at first I had rewatched it before, and I was like, oh wow, this is like all still really relevant.
We got to use it for something else then, probably.
So definitely check that out. That'll give you a bit more insight. The next lesson is to prioritize soft skills. So Tiff, you actually mentioned that earlier. As far as, so that means this is specifically about building a team. Sometimes people focus too much on the actual hard skills, like how long they went to school for. I mean, depends on your industry, but sometimes that's relevant, or how much experience they have. More times we've found that the soft skills, so that is just personality. Are they fast learners? Can they sort of adapt and figure things out? That has so much more of an impact. Like Dan, who's been working for us for 4 years, that granted he's family, but if he wasn't good, he wouldn't be working for us. He was complete soft skills. He knew how to talk to people. He's incredibly eager. He just
such a fast learner.
Very
fast learner.
Comes up with ideas, understands it really quickly, and is great talking to clients. Like, he's one of the first people who've worked for us we actually let talk to clients all the time. It's pretty cool when you think
because
about it, right?
There's so much trust there, and he's just such a good advocate for the business. And
he knew nothing about social when he started, like zip. So to see that, it's like, well, this is totally true. And then the flip side of that is to fire fast. So we've obviously hired people that didn't fit. Sometimes we fired fast, sometimes we didn't. We sort of done it.
Because sometimes the one problem is the soft skill, you like them so much that it's harder to fire them, but you got to do what's smart for your business.
Exactly.
So we'll say that's why it's a lesson, because we held on longer than we should have.
Much more. Yeah, exactly. You can teach all the requirements of the job, but the culture fit and that someone that you just like is important, and someone who just wants to be there arguably is more, and will go over and above to get things done, as opposed to, it's 4:59, I guess we're clocking out. Like, social media in our world, it's almost 24 hours. So there's always going to be things after hours that you have to do. And that's what Dan has done since the beginning. So it's very cool. But if people that you hire don't learn the skills quick enough, or something else changes, then you can fire fast, and it's better long-term for you to do that and then move on, as opposed to hanging on to them and then beginning to resent each other.
The next business lesson is to create a FU money stash, or really traditionally called like a runway or a wish fund is what we'll say. This is one of the favorite things that we learned from our like friend / business mentor, Stefan. He has a really great channel. If you're a programmer watching, definitely go check him out.
Stefan
Mischuk, and I'll drop it below. But he taught us about the FU money, and the reason you want to aim towards stacking so much money is so that you can say F you to any situation, because you have your expenses covered for optimally 2 years. So 2 years, of course, that's huge runway, but it's a goal to work towards. At minimum, though, you need 6 months at minimum to keep you going. So when we say FU money, that usually a lot is on the agency side too, where it's kind of like people are going to assume that you need their business, and it's really good when you can walk away from it. Like we talked about before, being able to leave money on the table so that you never compromise your values. That's why it's so important. Or never take less when you know that you deserve more, and then you end up resenting. So this is the stuff that having FU money prevents you from doing. Have a stash of money that you can tap into in case something goes wrong and you need to keep things going.
The next business lesson, and this is arguably the most important, it was have a why that you're doing all of this. Like, obviously you would have had a why for the most part as the reason you started, but why are you continuing to do what you do? That's something that sort of, we just knew we liked doing social. We had a knack for it. But as time went on, we've really started to care about small business. For us, it's been the thing. We really want to support small businesses. We realize that the knowledge that we have is, to us, it's like, oh, everyone kind of has it. But there's so many people that don't. And that goes for literally everything. Like, that's why YouTube is such a great platform for all of this. So we can share this information and then build on this community and then continually give back. So obviously there's things that you get for giving back on YouTube. There's different revenue sources and things like that. But it took a year and change to get monetized. And then it's not like it's a lot of money to begin with. You don't get sponsors right away, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So building that community and giving back was really important for us. And our other favorite way of doing that and continuing the why, which was to care about small businesses and really help, was our membership. We made it at an absurdly cheap price that basically it's less than a latte every month. And that gives you access to us. It gives you access to our DMs that we respond to faster. It gives you the 2 lives, free products, discounts off our consults, all these different things. And it's great. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel really good. It's probably we get the most joy out of that side of what we do. Because of that why.
It's true. And I do think like you do the thing and you're passionate about it, but sometimes the why develops over time, but it's what keeps you going, which is super important. Because like, we professionally and personally very much care about small businesses. We obviously care much about financial freedom. You know, a lot of people, the reason that you started this business is likely because you know that you could be more in control of your life and your situation, and a business allows you to do that. Like a business allows you to take full ownership of your life and live out some type of passion that you have or some type of need to want to help people. And that's specifically what a business allows. It's allowed us to do that. So of course that's like, maybe not for everybody, but for us, that's the same thing that we want for others too. And this social is the vehicle for that. Exactly. Like I feel very blessed that we have a vehicle that can help people do the thing that they want to do too. And we get paid to do that thing as well.
Yes.
It works in a very beautiful giving circle.
It's important. Giving back is, if it's just doing business just to make money for yourself, that's great. And that's what it started as. But once you have this why, this additional reason to keep going and to keep leveling up and to keep giving more value, it's the what's the word? Fulfillment is so much more. It's so much more. And it's been one of the most important things for us.
So thank you for coming back and for watching a video and sticking out this long, because it definitely would have been a longer video.
We'd be yapping today.
If you watch this video and you like this, or you want more content like this, because we often don't speak about the entrepreneurial side of things, but because we are 10 years deep, we felt like this was the time. And of course, we also want to thank HoneyBook. Definitely recommend that you check them out. We mean it when we say invest in the software and the tools and the types of people that will help you advance 100%. So if you do not have a software in place, or if you do not love the software that you're using, definitely check out HoneyBook. Take advantage of their deals, their free trials. There's always going to be something great to allow you to test it out. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe below, and check out this video next. See you in the next one. Bye.
Peace.